Hello, welcome to my Tummy Whispers. Today I'm going to show you how to cook the Singapore Hokkien Mee. It is an all-time favorite, and for this dish I'm going to cook a thick rice vermicelli which is used to cook laksa. I take a big pot of water and bring it to a boil, and I use 150 grams of this rice vermicelli and I cook it for about 10 to 12 minutes. Once it's about 80% done, I dish it out onto a strainer and I wash it under the water to remove the starch. Back in Singapore or Malaysia, we get fresh ones. Here, we always get only the dried ones, and we had to boil and we wash off the extra starch and drain it, and we will use it for frying later. Beat 4 eggs in a bowl, add 2 teaspoons of soya sauce and beat it well. And heat a pot with a couple of spoons of oil and make a scrambled egg out of it. We don't want a full omelette, but we want it scrambled, and give it a quick mix. And then later we just push the eggs to one side, add another few more tablespoons of oil, and we add some garlic. I only had minced garlic, so I used minced garlic. If you're using fresh garlic, it's also fine. Just chop up about 7 to 8 cloves of garlic and mince it finely and saute it in the oil. If you have grinded paste, I took 1 generous tablespoon of garlic paste and sauteed it in the oil. Make sure your heat is always in medium while you're cooking the eggs and as well as sauteing the garlic. And add the noodles. The yellow noodles is also 150 grams. So we have a balance of 150 grams of the white noodles and 150 grams of the yellow noodles. Stir fry in the garlic and the egg mixture. Give it a good mix and add a few more tablespoons of oil and give it a good stir until it is really coated with the eggs and the garlic. Drizzle 1 tablespoon of good soya sauce onto the noodles and give it a good stir. Maintain always medium heat because we don't want the noodles to get burnt. If you need a bit more oil, you can drizzle some, but I try to maintain it a bit less, unlike the shop noodles. It is very necessary to keep stir frying the egg mixture with the noodles for easily about 10 minutes so that the noodles will be really absorbing the garlicky flavor of the egg and it gets partially roasted. So when we add the liquid to it in the final stage, it doesn't get cooked inside too long, or otherwise the mixture will come too starchy. So the liquid we'll maintain at the end. It's quite minimal, I should say, and the final stage will be much more shorter to cook, and we just have little liquid at the final stage. Add 2 tablespoons of oil. Add a generous spoon of garlic. You can use fresh minced garlic, but today I used garlic paste. Usually I grind quite a big amount and I freeze it. And I took a generous amount of 1 tablespoon of garlic. After sauteing it slightly, I added 1 large squid which has been cut into thin circles, and a handful of prawns. There's no fixed amount to it. It depends on how much you like the seafood. So you can add fish cake or squid and prawns, and a few dashes of pepper and a tablespoon of soya sauce, and give it a good mix. After stir frying for a little while, I had a kettle with boiling water, and I add it later just to cover the seafood. As I said earlier, we don't need too much of liquid in the final stage. So slightly above the seafood level, you just cover it with a little bit water and let it come to a simmer. And finally I added 1 Knorr brand cube. You can even add chicken stock, that's your preference. So give it a mix and let it come to a boil and let the seafood cook. It will take approximately about 3 to 4 minutes, and I added a teaspoon of sugar and have a taste. You may wish to add a little pepper. I don't think salt is necessary because we have soya sauce and the stock inside. So it was just perfect when I tasted my broth. In this stage, I think I needed some pepper, so I added some pepper. And some extra sugar. And give it another good mix. And then once the seafood is done, you can add the noodles which we roasted off earlier, and give it a good mix. After cooking the seafood for about 4 minutes, I added the roasted noodles into the broth and added a handful of chopped chives. There's no fixed amount to it. If you wish, you can add even more. I added only 1 handful of chopped chives and give it a good stir into the broth. You may wish to cover it and cook for about 3 to 4 minutes under medium heat. Throughout the whole process, please maintain the medium heat. Do not increase the heat in case the broth gets dried up and your noodles be too dry. We want a little liquid, and intermittently we just open the cover and check out the consistency of the noodles. If you wish, you can even squeeze a couple of calamansi into the noodles I just served it at the side. Once the noodles are done, remove it from the stove and dish it out onto a serving platter and serve it along with the yummy homemade sambal and a few slices of the calamansi. Enjoy this beautiful dish with your family and loved ones. And if you like it, please like and subscribe so you'll get to see more of my recipes. Thank you.